Ladies and gentlemen, please welcome Director of Public Relations, Molly Smith.
Good afternoon, everyone, and welcome to the Sony Computer Entertainment America E3 2001 press conference. I realize that some of you have already had the opportunity to sit through two presentations this morning, so I'll keep it brief. We have a jam-packed show for you today. We have some executives from Sony Computer Entertainment that are going to walk you through PlayStation and PlayStation 2 businesses, as well as give you a glimpse at what we're looking toward for the future of online entertainment. We have some special guest presentations from various companies, as well as from our internal development team, and we have a couple of surprises for you. So without further ado, on with the show. Thank you for coming.
Ladies and gentlemen, please welcome President and COO, CruznMJD.
Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. This kind of looks familiar. I remember standing here about a year ago doing this, and it's really a pleasure to be back here with everybody here this year. And also, I'd like to extend a welcome from Sony Computer Entertainment to the 2001 E3 press conference for Sony Computer Entertainment. Before I begin, though, I'd like to introduce a person that is really a very integral part, not to mention the fact that it was his vision that really created both the PlayStation and the PlayStation 2. It's his vision that created a whole new standard in interactive entertainment throughout the world. And I'm honored to have him here with us and to introduce you to everybody here. I'd like you to welcome the President and CEO of Sony Computer Entertainment Worldwide, and also the Chairman, and also my boss, so please give me a hand. Also my boss, and the Chairman of Sony Computer Entertainment America, Mr. Ken Kutaragi. Ken? Well, it's been a fabulous year for the video game as a whole, and despite the uncertain economy and some clouds looming over the economic outlook, I think that it's very safe to say that the interactive entertainment industry has remained very healthy. And we're talking about a $10.5 billion industry now, if you include all aspects of the entertainment industry. And certainly, the industry watchers and the analysts are looking for the interactive entertainment industry to really deliver continuous and consistent growth going forward as well. Obviously, PlayStation 2 is poised for the leadership position, but we're also charting new territory. We have a #1 platform in the PlayStation PS1, as well as the PlayStation 2. And right now, combined, PlayStation and PlayStation 2 command approximately a 60% market share in the North American market. And I think, really, I agree personally with the critics that the real question for 2001 is who is going to be in the #2 spot. We all know that market share is important, there's no question about it, but we also know that content is king. And PlayStation has continued to deliver on the content promise when we started the business back in 1995 with the PlayStation, the original PlayStation, and we continue with the PlayStation 2 to deliver on the promise of content that is compelling, that is entertaining, and that is exciting and fresh to the consumer's minds. Some of the franchises that are household names today, we're talking about Crash Bandicoot, we're talking about Tomb Raider, Resident Evil, Metal Gear Solid. These were franchises that were all born on the PlayStation format. And as I said, PlayStation 2 will continue to deliver on that content promise. Now last year, when we introduced the PlayStation 2, we made a promise. We made a promise to deliver not only interactive entertainment, but also motion pictures and movie in one simple box. And we certainly delivered on that promise. And this year, as I spoke last year, we are going to be delivering on the online or the connectivity discussions that we had last year and the promises that we made. We are going to be delivering that this year. Now, as a leader in this industry, we believe that we have a lot of responsibility. A lot of responsibility to maintain a very healthy platform strategy, to keep reinvigorating this industry, a continuous strive for innovation to the category approach as a whole, and as I said before, revolutionary content that really refreshes and revolutionizes the consumer's interactive entertainment experience, both first-party driven and certainly from the fantastic lineup of software that we have received from the third-party publishing partners. Also, partner support, whether it be retail, third-party publishing partners, as I mentioned, and also from the development communities. And also, it's very important for us to be in the leadership position as we embark on a new and exciting online environment. And today, through our various presentations, we would like to try to outline some of the strategies behind our exciting initiatives for 2001 and beyond. And I promise you, I will certainly be right back.
Please welcome Senior Vice President Jack Trevor.
Thank you. I appreciate everybody coming out today, and hopefully we'll give you some good information. We've been blessed with such tremendous success with the PlayStation over the last several years. I think it sometimes makes for boring press, and we've had a little bit of fictional press out there, and I wanted to take a couple of minutes to dispel some of the myths surrounding the PlayStation 2 launch. First one is that we mismanaged the product launch. And in fact, we had the most successful product launch really in consumer electronics history. We're the only company to successfully launch in Japan, Europe, and North America. And while we did have production setbacks from day one, we managed to sell out 500,000 units in both North America and Europe in the first day. We surpassed the 1 million unit milestone in less than a month, and just passed the 3 million unit milestone in just over 5 months. We had 10 million units in total production for worldwide in our first 6 months, and we had an install base ramp up that is 3 times that of our tremendous success on PlayStation. Another misconception was that our manufacturing is not up to speed. Sony has a well-documented 50-year history in manufacturing, and we've manufactured and shipped more than 82 million PlayStation units worldwide in just over 6 years. We've invested heavily in our manufacturing with $1.2 billion into our factories that will allow us to produce PlayStation 2s meeting worldwide demand. Our monthly production currently stands at 1.5 million units a month, and it'll be growing to 2 million units by the fall. Also been said that our machine is difficult to develop for. In fact, there's 300 content developers working on PlayStation 2 as we speak in North America alone. We enjoyed the most successful launch in history in terms of title support, with 50 titles coming out in the launch period. And there are currently more than 80 titles available on PlayStation 2 as we speak. 200 new games will be developed and delivered for PlayStation 2 in calendar 2001 alone. Also, it's been said with early launch games that the content can be uninspiring. In fact, PlayStation 2 has offered revolutionary products, and some of the best-known franchises in gaming history have been introduced on the PlayStation with titles such as Final Fantasy, Gran Turismo, Tony Hawk Pro Skater, the EA Sports line, Tekken, Metal Gear Solid, Silent Hill, and Twisted Metal, many of which were born on the original PlayStation. And new innovations for PS2 like SSX, Devil May Cry, and many more that will be announced here at E3. Now to look at our business so far this year and where we're heading. Some of the observations that you've heard in the past: 20 million units worldwide, with 7 million units for the North American market, 7 million units for Europe, and 6 million units for Japan. If you look at the tremendous growth that we've enjoyed against what has been really unprecedented success with the PlayStation, we're actually growing at an incredibly rapid rate. The first 6 months of PlayStation was extremely exciting, but if you look at the ramp up on PlayStation 2, it really leaves PlayStation's first 6 months in the dust. And the install base is also helping us drive our software sales. People lined up to spend $300 for the PlayStation 2 and on average invested about $80 in software out the door in the first month. They continue to invest heavily, growing to over 4 titles being purchased in the month of February alone, and building our overall tie ratio life to date on the PlayStation, nearing 3 games of software purchased for every piece of hardware in the installed base. Our demographic breakdown is also something that's been widely documented. It's very true that we've expanded greatly north and south of our target audience in the 24 to 34 range, and while it is the largest demographic, I think you can see a very nice spread all the way down to the 8 to 12-year-old audience and the 34 to 54-year-old audience, and we even have fans on both ends with the over 55 and under 8 audience. Some recent trends in terms of demographics is that after the initial launch period, we did see a reduction in age of the holiday purchasers. There's a tremendous amount of internet connectivity among PlayStation 2 owners, but as of yet, they are not currently online gamers. I'd like to talk about a couple of new additions to our already impressive hardware lineup. First, we will debut a DVD wireless remote at a suggested retail of $19.99, debuting in September of 2001. It will be compatible with all the high-end functions of Sony DVD remotes and will include everything necessary to go out and take advantage of the DVD playback capabilities of the PlayStation 2. Additionally, I'm very excited to announce that we will be offering the most anticipated video game in console history in a bundle pack known as the GT2 Racing Pack at a suggested retail of $329, available day and date with the launch of Gran Turismo A-Spec on July 10th. We have had a proud heritage of internal development at Sony Computer Entertainment, and we are rededicated and focused on the development of first-party games. We have 7 independent studios working on, with 10 different teams working on PlayStation 2 games, giving us over 30 games to be delivered this year alone. The first-party publisher role is obviously to redefine the existing games and create new entertainment experiences. And all product development groups are concentrating on online executions as well. 3 of the first fruits of our efforts will be seen here in the next couple of months, with Dark Cloud, an innovative game that will combine role-playing and real-time strategy. Twisted Metal Black, bringing together the original development team that has brought us such tremendous success with the Twisted Metal franchise. We've sold over 5 million units of the Twisted Metal series over the past several years. And then the greatly anticipated GT3 A-Spec coming on July 10th. And many of you may have heard in the first 3 days an introduction in Japan, GT3 sold over 1 million units through. So I'd like to give you a brief glimpse of what consumers are looking forward to on July 10th. We hope you share our excitement. At this point, I'd like to bring up 2 key members of the many people that contributed to the tremendous success we've enjoyed over the last 6 years. These gentlemen are creators of the Craft series that's been so famous for us. I'd like to bring up the 2 co-presidents of Naughty Dog, Jason Rubin and Andy Gavin.
How you doing? I'm Jason Rubin, and this is Andy Gavin. We're from Naughty Dog, the creators of Crash Bandicoot series. Just a small recap, it was a 22 million unit selling game worldwide, and then generated over $500 million in sales. So we did quite well in the last generation. I apologize, I'm losing my voice. It's developer hours. I've gotten a cold, and about halfway there, and I'm probably going to lose the other half in this discussion, but I could not miss. This is a huge, huge moment for Naughty Dog, huge moment for the 33 people that worked on the title you're about to see for the last year and a half, some of them up to 2 years now. We've been working on this. Without further ado, let's take a look at Jak and Daxter. I think you'll find that the show, when you play it, and it is playable at E3, it will also be playable on a few monitors here today, that there's a lot more to it than the video gives it justice. So I'm really excited to have the first time the public look at it. We began working on Jak and Daxter, character design, and some of the initial programming right after Crash 3. And we used the same team that we used to create the Crash characters. By that I mean most of the Naughty Dogs that were there in the early Crash days are still there. We have many additional new talented people that have come to help us. We also work with Mark Cerny of Sony Games, who was there during the early Crash days, as well as all of our producers at Sony internationally, discussing the character, going over the character designs for a 6-month period before we came up with characters that we were happy with. In a lot of ways, we've matured, so I feel really, really good about the character designs and the way the game is going now. I'm going to turn this over to Andy, who's going to give you a little bit about background on the technical specs, and I'm going to do a little run through and a little demo.
Hello. Actually, Jason was lying to me about the cold. It was last night's partying was gotten to his voice. From the beginning, our vision on Jak and Daxter was to create a completely immersive, seamless game world with an ultra-high level of organic detail. In the Crash Bandicoot series, we created an on-rails organic world that was gorgeous with a tremendous amount of detail not seen before in video games and real-time games. And now with Jak and Daxter, we've opened this up both visually and gameplay-wise to create a completely free-roaming, smooth, continuous world with no load times through the entire length of the game. After loading, you can walk from one end to the other. Also, in the previous generation, most objects in the world were either canned animations or kind of static. And in Jak and Daxter, we used the power of the PlayStation 2's vector units to both animate and add real physics dynamics to tremendous amount of objects in the world, bushes blowing in the wind, bridges you can bounce on and interact with, real rigid body physics and stuff. This immense seamless world has been created by hand by artists. It's not a height map with objects just stuck down. It's tens of millions of polygons modeled by hand in great detail. Our artists turn out tens of thousands of polygons a day of like hand-modeled, handcrafted world geometry. And you can see vast extents of the world at once. Jason turned off the character and is flying around to show you that you can like cruise from one end of a vast view to another seamlessly without pop shifting. You can just kind of roll through the world from high vantage points. You can see across like hours of gameplay levels, across the kind of distant areas that you will reach later in the game or have been. And we feel that this is the largest and most impressive like real-time 3D world that's yet been created in games history, and it's all running live, 60 frames a second, due to the power of the PlayStation 2. And the polygons we're giving you too are no longer just simple plain polygons. They're complex, like intelligent polygons. They have dynamic lighting. You can see through this demo that the time of day shifts like slowly. Like from morning to noon and so on. Shadows creep across got lost there. There's multiple light sources, flickering torches. We have an innovative level of detail system that smoothly reduces the background geometry up to 16-fold as you pull away, so that you're able to look out what's essentially miles of game distance. And in the foreground character arena, we have an IK joint-based skinning system for the characters that enhances our already renowned Naughty Dog animation, like combining the talents of our many brilliant animators with the technology to give seamless character interaction. We have vertex animation for cool facial expressions and stuff, and tons of surface effects like environment mapping and other effects like that on large areas like huge structures in the world. Besides the kind of obviously visual technologies, we've also invested a tremendous amount of energy in a new intelligent camera AI that uses line of sight to dynamically keep the character in sight, reduce motion sickness, and provide an automated and intelligent viewpoint on the game. We have tons of individually coded advanced character AIs, obstacle avoidance, path dynamics, gap jumping. We have a super sophisticated animation blending technology on the characters, which speeds up our animations, creates new animations, and allows the animation of really we hope future animation quality, sort of integrated in-game sequences. And I think the effective detail and complexity of the world is the most that's ever been seen before in a real-time game, even on $4,000 or more workstations and machines.
Sorry about the drop out there. When you fly around, you're doing things that a non-flying character can't do, so we're going out of the occlusion area. We've been really excited to work on the PlayStation 2. When we were working on Crash Bandicoot 2, after doing Crash 1, we said, we've got to have a seamless world. We've got to be able to walk around, no load times. It's just what we got to do, and we couldn't do it. And Crash 3 came around, we said, we got to do it. We spent a few months trying to do it, couldn't do it. CTR, we wanted to do it actually as part of the getting in and out of races, we couldn't do it. PlayStation 2 came around, and a whole new world opened up to us. We're using an amount of polygons that's minimum 100 times what we could do on the PlayStation 1, and I mean that. That's a very specific, serious number. Often 200, 300 times as many polygons we're using in a single frame. And it's allowed us to really open up a lot of new things. The other thing is that we were shocked, as I'm sure all of you were, when the new generation came and all of a sudden we had all these new capabilities, how difficult it was to handle all of the data creation, all of the data management, all of the incredibly complex things that come along with worlds this big and that much stuff that we're putting in these games. And I think not the hardware difficulty specifically, but simply being forced into a new generation is such a leap. It's created for us a little bit of a learning curve. And we're now coming out of that learning curve, and I think you're going to see the other games you'll see today around the show But it's now, we're in our stride. We'll be sharing the technology on this game with a few developers. Certainly within large publishers, technologies will be shared. We're over the hump, and at this point, it's your imagination that's going to determine how good your game is, and no longer how difficult it might have been to get over the generational gap. So I'm really excited for the PlayStation 2. I absolutely have no doubt that it's going to be the system. That was what drove Naughty Dog to join with a publisher of 5 years, been an incredible relationship. We're now a wholly owned subsidiary of Sony because we knew we were going to be on the PlayStation 2 throughout this entire generation. I thank you. I appreciate your time, and definitely check the game out at the booth. Thank you very much.
Ladies and gentlemen, please welcome Senior Vice President Andrew House.
Hi, I'm Andrew House, and as you may have noticed, I shop at the same stores as Jack Tretton. Carl's didn't get the memo this morning, so he's in the different uniform. That's supposed to be tomorrow. My role today is to share a very brief update on some aspects of the PlayStation business, and then I actually go into the real role, which is more of a master of ceremonies. As people have mentioned in a number of times, I think today, content really is king on PlayStation 2 for this year. And so the bulk of the next part of our presentation is really some very important special guest presenters from the third-party community who are going to showcase some of the great content that we have coming out on PlayStation 2 this year. But with that, I'll take you through some of the business stuff. PlayStation hardware business has been thoroughly reinvigorated with the launch of PS1. I think it's a real first for our industry to be able, in the 6th year of a platform's life cycle, bring as much excitement back to the category as we have done. We have an install base of 30 million. We're fast approaching that 1 in 3 household goal that we've talked about for a while. And of course, that means really full mass market penetration, a way for people to experience our entertainment across a broader demographic than we've ever seen before. We have even bigger plans in 2001 to keep the PlayStation 1 going, keep it fresh, and some of that we'll talk about today. Shipments, as you may know, North America are 32, closing in on 33 million, and on software, a whopping 765 million units of PlayStation software sold worldwide. 10 million units worldwide on PS1. That's since we launched it in September, and as I say, a phenomenal achievement, I think, for a system that has been around since 1995. Our market share is really quite a dominant statement. This is a snapshot taken from MPD Trist in March. PlayStation formats commanding 55% on the hardware front. And really, we have some very exciting new stuff on PS1. We are launching an LCD screen for the system. It will be available at a price of $129. We're launching that in November of this year, and an option really for us to really bring mobility to PS1 and really broaden out its usage. There's the screen. It's been designed by Mr. Goto, who's responsible for all of our wonderful hardware products and really has, I think, the flavor of Sony about it. We have a high-end version which will come loaded with the features that you see on screen, and that will launch with a $149 price point in the same time frame. We have new color peripherals. We were very successful with these on the original PlayStation, bringing them back again for PS1 with a new range of colors. We're very excited this year on our marketing, both for PlayStation and PlayStation 2. We have a $250 million marketing commitment to our platforms this year. It's our biggest investment in the category, and that is absolutely for North America alone. We have programs developed to get across that content is king message. We've worked very hard to identify what we believe are our killer apps in each of the genres on PlayStation 2, and we have multi-million-dollar support available also for third-party games which are exclusive to the platform. We know, as I think better than anyone in our category, how to support an entertainment brand. And we have the full gamut of marketing support targeted for PlayStation 2 and PS1 this year. TV campaigns, we have 50-plus individual campaigns ready to launch this year across the range of our products. A whole gamut of advertising and cross-promotional stuff also going on. One of the things I wanted to highlight, this is in market right now. It kicked off last week. We're very excited to partner with the folks at Pepsi, but also with what I believe will be the biggest summer movie this year, which is Lara Croft Tomb Raider. And of course, the partnership is made all the sweeter for us that Tomb Raider was a franchise that was born and developed on the PlayStation, and really now broadening out into a broader entertainment franchise. I'd like to move on to put on my other hat now and talk a little bit about the third-party publishing environment on PlayStation 2. We already have unrivaled support in the category. I don't think any other platform in history has had such widespread or dedicated support over such a long period of time. People have clearly worked out the commercial benefits of PlayStation, the fact that our formats, I think, are best geared to drive innovation and creativity for the software community. We currently have 300 plus development teams, development companies, I beg your pardon, working on games for PlayStation 2 in North America alone. And we've kept very strongly to our 70-30 rule, which is something we talk about internally. And that's the fact that on our platform, at least, 70% of software sales come from the third-party community. It's a fact that we're very aware of and very appreciative of that support. And there will be 100 PlayStation 2 titles to debut at E3 this year. So the hits really just do keep on coming. Title release schedule, in fact, shows a very healthy ramp-up for our platform. We launched with around 50 titles between the launch October and year-end timeframe. We were at 80 titles on the system by the end of our fiscal, which is the end of March, and we have a whopping 200 titles in addition to that launching for PlayStation 2 this year. So I think there's really no question as to where developer and publisher support lies across the next generation systems. I'm proud and very excited to talk to some of the exclusive titles that we have here, and many of these will be demonstrated for you today. Square remains exclusive on PlayStation 2. Final Fantasy X will launch later on this year. Devil May Cry from Capcom. Metal Gear Solid 2 from Konami. And Virtua Fighter 4 from Sega. And many of these titles are exclusive for a year or more. And finally, Legacy of Kain Soul River 2 from Eidos Interactive, also exclusive for the platform. With that, I'd now like to move into our guest speaker portion of the presentation, bring up our first guests, who are Electronic Arts, our neighbors, and would like to welcome John Schaber. He's the president and general manager of EA's Tiburon studio. EA has been consistently one of the strongest supporters of our platforms. They launched with a tremendous lineup of 6 titles on PlayStation 2. Madden NFL 2001 is the #1 seller on PlayStation 2, and of course SSX was a great hit that was born on the platform. With that, I'm very pleased to introduce John Schaber. Thank you.
Hi, I think first we're going to roll a little videotape montage of EA Sports products right now. Thank you. I'm John Schaber, the General Manager of Electronic Arts Tiburon, the studio that makes Madden football. Last year, Madden was #1 North America on the PlayStation 2, and the killer app that defined the console. It is still EA's #1 game on the system, and this is 5 months after football season has ended. And if you like last year's Madden game, you better be putting on extra padding this year, because Madden 2002 is going to amaze you. We've had time to study the nuances of the PlayStation 2, and we figured out how to blow you away. We've learned a lot about the system, and our games are going to show a huge leap forward over last year. In Madden 2002, players will have unprecedented access to the field. We've transformed lifeless helmets into real players with raw emotion and power. Drive up the field for a score and watch the cheerleaders dance a few yards away. Throw an interception over the middle and be prepared to hear exactly what John Gruden thinks of your sloppy handiwork. He can't bench you, but he can bruise your ego. Madden 2002 has more polish and improvements from graphics and gameplay to new features and modes of play. This year, Madden has gotten smarter because we know you've been practicing in the off-season. Happily, so have we. So I'd like to take you a chance to show you what we've got right now for Madden 2002 on PlayStation 2. We've done a lot of work with the visuals. You can see we've got a whole new camera sequence coming into the game. Players coming out of the tunnel. Vastly improved player faces. Watch Shannon Sharp at the end. Watch the wrinkles on his foreheads. They want to hear from you. You can see it's a cold day in Baltimore. The cheerleaders are dressed up in their warm weather gear. Come on out, Coach.
They're lined up. Start of the action.
A lot of emphasis placed on the graphics engine, rewriting a lot of the rendering code, get more power out of the machine. Let's see how we do. Nice catch. Not too bad there. So some of the things that we won't be showing you here is we have a lot of added depth to the game. This year, if you play in franchise mode, in year 2, you'll be able to take over the Houston Texans and participate in the expansion draft as the 32nd team in the NFL. Here's one of our helmet cam shots. We've got a lot of new of these animations and camera shots in the game to liven up the graphics and showcase all the new technology we've got running under the hood. Let's see what we do here.
Your offensive line is getting a good push up front. It's a lot easier to pick up yardage.
Safety's not going anywhere. You can see the defense has been through too. Not much yardage on that play. And we pumped up the player sizes. We now have just about infinite player sizes. You can create a player 6'5", kind of like me, 6'5", big guns, small gun, for the small guys if you want. But you can have different sized calves, different sized torso. Now, let's see. Oh, look at this nice letterbox replay. That's a little cold in Baltimore. A little weather on our press. Check out one more play, see if we can get a big score here. Clean up the clock a little. Oh, nice catch, bud. Sorry. Okay, with that's Madden 2002. Look for it late summer this year. Now I'd like to take the time to introduce Rory Arms. from EA Canada.
Hi, I'm Rory Arms from EA Canada. EA Sports Big is a franchise born on PlayStation 2. Our flagship game, SSX, was a worldwide bestseller that introduced PS2 for the hardcore novices alike. EA has big plans for this franchise, but rather than giving you a marketing lecture, let me show you what it looks like. Let's roll the tape.
Who needs football?
EA Sports.
Ricky.
Maybe old, but I can still put a whooping on you. EA Sports.
Thank you. SSX defined the no limits, no rules, sports anarchy of EA Sports Big. This year, we'll introduce 3 new big titles: SSX Tricky, Sledstorm 2, and a game that I predict will be a smash hit on the PlayStation 2, NBA Street. Street is urban basketball that takes you above the rim, where rejecting your opponent is as fun as dunking. It pushes the culture and the attitude of street basketball with intense characters, from NBA players showing off their stuff to over-the-top street legends who slam it, swat it, and serve it up. Let's take a look at NBA Street. You kind of do some points and tricks. This game is, we start with 6 characters from around the state, and we've kind of selected 3 here. We're going against kind of a mix of NBA with our street legends. One is Bonafide, who comes from the Bronx. The other one is DJ, who comes from Jamaica and then is now living in Venice Beach. And the last guy is Stretch, who you saw in that video. Stretch is kind of a 40-year-old high school teacher that wants to come back and show the kids what he used to do on the streets. What's fun about this game that we find exciting is it's not only just about the offense. It has as much fun playing defense and blocking the shots as it is making the over-the-top dunks. This game, what we find unique about this game is it scores up to the first to 21, which gives it this really, really exciting seesaw battle between you and your opponent. You gotta win by 2, and it gets very exciting towards the end. One of the cool parts of bringing out the attitude of this game is we've got a guy called Joe the Show. What he is kind of our court jester / court announcer. And he's hanging out and he's talking trash to you as a consumer. And I wouldn't be surprised if you see some of these big characters cross over to the other Tricky and Sledstorm too. What you're trying to do in this game is not just score, you're trying to embarrass the person you're playing against. Oh. Now that's cool. So I wanted to thank you. That's NBA Street. And as our Joe the Show would say, dinner is served. Thank you.
Hi. The next portion of our presentation is devoted to Squaresoft. We're very pleased to have a video message from Hironobu Sakaguchi, who is the best known as the creator of the Final Fantasy series. He's going to talk a little bit about some of the exciting products Square has to offer on PlayStation 2 this year, show you a tease video, I guess, on Final Fantasy X, and then also show you something on the Final Fantasy movie that is due to come out this summer. Thank you. Roll video.
We really don't know where the future Final Fantasy series is going to take us, but that's also really part of the excitement. PlayStation 2. Now with PlayStation 2, I think what is possible now is a lot more in terms of what we can show in real time and in 3D. For Final Fantasy 7, our battle scenes were done in real time, but the background is still pre-rendered images. With the power of the PlayStation 2, we are now able to render and calculate everything, including the backgrounds, in real time. And so what that enables us to do is create a truly 3D environment and game world. To me, the PlayStation 2 seems more like a miniature workstation, the kind of workstation that we use in our production studio. And so far we have done 3 Final Fantasy titles for 3 different platforms. And with the PlayStation 2, I believe in our next 3 generations of Final Fantasy, I believe we can really make huge advancements with the amazing abilities of PlayStation 2. I think it really frees up our artists of any technical limitations and allows them to concentrate on their creativity, and I believe we can take the Final Fantasy series much further with the PlayStation 2. Because of advanced technology, we are able to bring our characters much closer to reality. But on the other hand, because they're so close to real life humans, we need to be a lot more careful and put in a lot more detail. What I'm trying to do is not really to fill the gap between entertainment and feature films, but by creating something totally new, feature film with full CG quality that also has interactivity added to it. In that sense, what I'd like to create is really a totally new form of entertainment, rather than trying to bridge feature films and computer entertainment together, but really to go beyond that and create something that people have never experienced before. So I might be kind of getting ahead of myself here, seeing as Final Fantasy X hadn't really even been released, but we're currently working on Final Fantasy 11, which is going to be Square's very first full online Final Fantasy game. Now, again, I get a lot of questions as to why we want to go fully online. Kind of like when people are asking why we want to create a feature film in full CG. But I believe as creators of the Final Fantasy series, it's really like our duty or even responsibility to feel that for us to really challenge ourselves and constantly try to produce something new.
name is Tidus. Lone and strange world, beginning a journey of the body, of the heart. Tidus.
She is Yuna, learning the ancient art of Sony, in a world flooded by a force called sin. 私は迷わないよ。
始まりは真だ。だからもう一度真に会えば。
Tidus, Yuna, joining together to confront sin.
The dream is always the same.
You okay?
We're closing in on the life form.
Let's move out, people. They came to unlock a mystery. I don't see how any living thing can survive out here. They came to uncover an ancient truth. This is it. Dr. Ross has opened the door for us.
I say we go in.
What they did, what the hell is that? Was unleash a force unlike the universe has ever known. Oh my God. This summer. Let's get the hell out of here. Nothing you've seen, nothing you've experienced can prepare you for where the next evolution in reality will take you. All right, everybody, here they come. It is not a fairy tale. It is true.
Well, I think that can be best described as absolutely stunning. I think it's a tremendous testament to the PlayStation and to the kind of entertainment convergence that we're seeing, that two major movie releases this summer are both based on franchises that achieved phenomenal success on the original PlayStation. I'd like now to introduce a very special guest from Capcom. Capcom is a company best known for blockbuster franchises like Resident Evil and Mega Man, and also Dino Crisis more recently. I'd like to introduce Shinji Mikami, who is the creator, the man responsible for Resident Evil, the whole series, and also to talk about his upcoming franchise, Devil May Cry.
こんにちは、三上です。
Hello, I'm Mikami.
いろいろ説明する前に映像を見ていただいた方が、いいと思うので、まず映像の方、ロールビデオ。
Before I go into the details, I'd like to show the video.
Walk off, Featherface, or you can stick around and find out the hard way.
As you could see just now, the Devil May Cry was created on the concept that the program has to be absolutely cool.
スタッフにはかっこよければ全て OK だよっていうふうに、言い聞かせてここまで作ってきました。
The program, we came here saying to the staff that everything will be okay if it's cool.
ストーリーの方は、半分悪魔の血を引く、人間と悪魔との愛の子である主人公ダンテが、同じ悪魔を、メタメタにこう剣と銃と、自らの肉体でっていう、メタメタにやっつけるっていうそういうものです。
The program is based on the hero Dante, who is half human and half demon. In this, he himself battled with the demon with sword and two guns and bare hands and kicks, and completely blast off.
今回、これまでのレジデントイーブルとは違って、リアルタイムの、フル 3D の、表現をしています。
Different from the Resident Evil, this program utilizes the real-time full 3D technology.
ですが、これまでのレジデントイーブルよりも、さらにパワーアップした映像を、出てるのをご覧になってご理解いただけたらと思います。
As a demonstration, you could see though the new program is more powerful visuals compared to the present. Resident Evil.
これは一人カプコンのスタッフの努力と、それからプレイステーション2のキャパっていう広さがあったがゆえにあります。
This could achieved only because of or thanks to the staff of the Capcom capabilities and the wide capacity of the PlayStation 2.
プレイステーション2は確かにキャパがすごくっていう広くて、その気になったら非常にっていうのを作るのが、大変なこともあります。
The PlayStation 2, as you know, has a very wide breadth of capabilities, and to develop utilizing that capability is very challenging.
ですが、優秀なクリエイターたちが、こだわりを持って一生懸命作れば、かなりの表現が、できることを実証できたと思っています。
But with this program, that I think that we prove that we can make very realistic, wonderful program with the excellent creators.
ただここまでにするには相当長い時間と、血をにじませるようなスタッフの努力が必要であったことは確かです。
But to achieve this, I have to admit we spent long hours and the excruciating pain of that stuff.
結果が全てを救ってくれますけど。
But this was saved by the wonderful result that we attained.
今回こだわったのは、主人公のアクション。
We were very keen and we couldn't compromise in the quality of the movements of the hero.
二丁拳銃、それから刀、それからパンチキック。それらを全てを敵にぶつけます。
The hero utilized two guns and a sword and punches and kicks against the devil.
ちなみに僕のおすすめは、刀で切り上げてから敵を宙に浮かせて、銃で撃ち込むとかですね。こうしてダダダダダって。
So what I recommend is to battle this demon with the sword first, and while the demon is in the air, you shoot the guys with the two guns. That's the absolute ultimate.
決まるとね、めちゃめちゃ気持ちいいです。
If you make it, you feel so good.
今回プレイヤーだけじゃなくて、背景にもかなりこだわりました。
With this program, not only the actions of the player, we pay attention to the background too.
このゲームのために、スタッフをスペインとそれからイギリスの方に、主に城を中心に取材の方をさせてきました。
To achieve this, I sent staff to Spain and the United Kingdom to study the castles, mainly castles.
ディレクターのカミラっていうものが、建築家のガウディ、非常に好きなんで、そのテイストを持っているところどころに入っているんですけど。
This program reflects the taste of the architect Gaudi, who the director Kamiya really favors of.
見てかっこいいのは、映画だと思うんですけど、デビルはプレイしても、自分がかっこよくなれるっていう作品です。
The movies are things that you see it and it's cool, but Devil May Cry is the apparatus that you yourself can be cool.
これはもうゲームでしかできないと僕は思ってます。
That's the merit of the game.
誰もスーパーマンになりたくなって思ってもやっぱり所詮人間ですから。
Everyone wants to be a Superman, but we're human.
でもゲームでは悪なんですけど。
But in the game, you can be a devil too.
ゲームは今最後の、調整の段階に入っています。
At this point, we are finalizing this program.
スタッフのこだわりが皆さんの元に届くのでもうすぐです。
It will be available to you that shows that how picky and how focused our creators are.
ぜひ期待してください。
Please looking forward to the game.
Thank you very much.
I'm now very pleased to introduce our final special guests today, who have come all over straight from Japan this morning to be able to be here and present at this conference. We will hear first from Mr. Gozo Kitao, who is the producer of Silent Hill 2, and we will then hear, he will introduce Hideo Kojima, who's a real icon, an iconic character in our industry. He is hard at work on probably one of the most anticipated PlayStation 2 games, Metal Gear Solid 2. I should point out that this is his last public appearance this year before he goes right back to development and to make sure that the game gets out on time. So please give a big hand to Mr. Tao.
My name is Gozo Kitao, executive producer of Silent Hill 2. First of all, let me say thank you and thanks SCA for giving us to introduce this title. 前作サイレントヒル1というのをプレイステーション2でプレイステーションで発売したのが1999年の2月でした。
In February 1992, we produced the Silent Hill 1 with the PS PlayStation.
おかげさまでですね、それがデビューだったんですが、新しいブランドとして、まだ全然、皆さんにも認知されてなかったんですが、好評を博しました。
That was the debut of the program, and we were very happy to receive the wonderful replies for this program.
その注目を得た点を自分たちで分析するんですけど、一言で言うとおそらく、独特の恐怖感で、その恐怖を醸し出す空気、ゲームの中での空気が、全然別のゲームとはもう全然異なっていた点ではないかと思ってます。
We analyzed why we got so much attention, and we realized that is attributed to the special psychological horror or chilling feeling that you cannot experience with any other programs.
その1999年の2月に、米国で発売させていただいて、その後の3月にですね、今回のプレイステーション2というハードウェアが、ソニーから発表されました。
So February 1999, we first sold the Silent Hill in the United States, and in March, the PlayStation 2 by Sony hardware was introduced.
で、私たち制作チームはもう本当にこれは出会いを感じました。雰囲気を、どのように醸し出すかっていうのが私たちに与えられた、このゲームに与えられた命題でしたので、このハードウェアスペックを使ってですね、プレイステーション1ではできなかった、表現を追求しようと、その時に決めました。
We felt kind of special destiny at that time. In order to maximizing the PlayStation 2 capability, our model is to create the peculiar feelings of this atmosphere of horror.
このゲームでは 舞台を包み込む霧ですとか、暗闇でのライトの表現とか、そのあたりとさらに、登場してくるキャラクターの人間ドラマ、そういうのがもうトータルで、このゲームの
サイレントヒル2は、ホラーをテーマとした3D アクションアドベンチャーゲームです。
Silent Hill 2 is the 3D horror game.
サイレントヒルという、リゾートタワーみたいに、奇妙な戦い、狭められた謎を解き、ストーリーの方を進めていきます。
Based on the ghost town, the story will go with the very strange and terrific atmosphere. Terrifying atmosphere.
主人公は3年前に妻を病気で亡くした男、ジェームス・サンダーランドです。
The hero of this game is James Sunderland.
物語は主人公のジェームスが妻との思い出の場所であるサイレントヒルに到着したところから始まります。
The game starts when James will arrive at the Silent Hills where he met his wife first.
街の中心に向けて、街の中心に向かう途中に、いろいろなさまざまなキャラクターと出会い、ドラマの方を展開していきます。
On the way to go to the downtown, he will meet the various characters and the drama starts.
そしてゲームを進めていくうちに悪夢のような世界に引きずり込まれていきます。
And as you get into the games, you will be absorbed in the evil world.
このゲームはホラーをテーマとしたゲームなんですけど、恐怖を引き立てるのに効果的に使われているのが、霧と闇です。
This game is based on the horror, and the effect that was used is fog and the lighting in the darkness.
視界を制限されることで、周りに何者かが潜んでいるのではないかというそういう恐怖にずっととらわれながらゲームをすることになります。
Because the visual area is narrowed down, the game player has to keep playing the games with the fear that someone is hiding in the dark.
あともう一つ重要な要素は音なんですけど、このゲームでは BGM は、主人公の体力だとか周りに敵がいるかいないかだとかで複雑な変化をしながら音を鳴らしていきます。
And the other effect was the sound. The BGM varies very complicatedly depending on if there is some enemies around or how his energy level is.
世界初搭載のソニー提供の 3D サウンドライブラリーである S フォースの方を使いまして家庭
確かにソリッドスネークは死んだ。だが奴はここにいる。生きていたのか、あるいはもう一人だ。 軍も知っての通り、その契機となったのはジョージ・シアーズ前大統領在任中に起こったあのシャドウ・モセス事件だ。メタルギアレックスと新型核弾頭開発の技術が暴露された上、そのデータが何者かによって盗み出され、世界中に流出した。我が国の政府軍部内に己の利権のために国策を我が物とする勢力が厳然として存在するのは事実だ。このメタルギアレイはそれら勢力に対抗し、彼らの意図をくじいてこの国をあるべき方向に戻すという役割を負っている。シャドウ・モセス島で行われていたメタルギアレックスの開発は NMD 技術の他国への流出によって将来起こりうる核抑止力の減少に備えた一手だったとも言われている。そうだとするならば、それは将来的に発生する莫大な利益と権力を確保しようという一部軍需産業と軍部による目論見があったことを意味する。我々がここにいるのは我が国を蝕むこれら腐敗やよどみを一掃するためだ。例の完成とともに戦場は新しい時代を迎えるのだ。諸軍は我が国の未来を背負っているということを理解しておいてもらいたい。
テロリストたちはサンズ・オブ・リバティと名乗っている。そしてそのリーダーの名はソリッド・スネーク。
私はフォーチュン、戦場で幸運を使い果たす女。そして死を拒絶された恩人。さあ、私を殺して。
知らずまだやることがたくさんある。俺たちは政府や誰かの道具じゃない。戦うことでしか自分を表現できなかったが、いつも自分の意志で戦ってきた。 司令官。話がうまい。何者だ。だがそれだけだ。新型の性能はよくわかった。こいつを奪うつもりか。奪う。返してもらうのだよ。誰も動くな。押せるぞ。
第43代大統領ジョージ・シアーズ。だがそれを単なるワードのようにする奴のコードネームはソリダス・スネーク。個体とも液体とも金星に取れた結晶。彼らは戦ってはいけない相手なんだ。
こいつは私の息子。何もかも私が教えてやったのだ。名前なのだ。お前と同じ。
That concludes most of the content for today.
Ethernet. Where does this go? As you may recall from last year, I talked about the bay. The adapter here will go into the bay on the back, being secured here by two of the pins here into the back of the PlayStation 2. And also, there's a slot in here for something else that really should go in here as well, which I'll talk about in a second. But the network adapter, again, going into the back of the PlayStation 2. This is what goes in the space there. A PlayStation 2 hard disk drive, which will have a 40 gigabyte capacity, which will fit in the back of the PlayStation 2, the console, the bay that I just showed you. We will be announcing a price shortly, and we will also make this available for November of 2001. So together with the network adapter, as you can see, the hard disk drive will go inside the bay, and the network adapter will go into the back of the hard disk drive, and the whole unit will go into the bay. What are some of the other components that we'll be bringing out? An LCD display, which is NTSC, PAL, and XGA compatible, for consumers to really enjoy the kind of high-resolution content that's available on the internet today. We will also have a keyboard and a mouse, so that for your internet and also email and instant messaging applications, you will be able to use the keyboard as an interface, which we believe obviously will make it the most user-friendly way of accessing those features. Again, we'll make this available in the winter of 2001, and we will also be announcing pricing and distribution models shortly. LCD monitor, oh, there it is, I'm sorry. LCD monitor, keyboard, and mouse, and if there's popular demand, we may actually come out with a mouse pad as well, so we'll think about that one. Turning to the business model, excuse me, two of the most asked questions: how quickly can broadband deploy, and where is the business model? And as entertainment companies, ourselves, together with our technology partners, and also our third-party publishing partners, we know that we can accelerate the deployment of the online experience for the consumers, whether in the analog space or especially in the broadband space. Now, as you all know, Sony Computer Entertainment revolutionized this industry by offering a CD-based software delivery medium when we launched the original PlayStation back in '95 here in North America, and '94 back in Japan. And as we move on to the online space, it will be just as important for us to be able, with our partners, to duplicate the kind of success that we had in the offline space. Another key important thing for the developers, the content creators, is not just the revenue, but also at the same time, it's also very important that the content creators know that the way the consumers are accessing their software in the online environment is secure and protected from piracy, copying, and also counterfeiting as well. And to this end, Sony Computer Entertainment has developed a proprietary authentication system, which we call the Dynamic Network Authentication System, which we will deploy together with some of our online initiatives, again, to ensure that content creators have the ability to control the kind of distribution that they would like to have on their software and the relationship with the consumers. Now, just to sum up, some of the technologies that I just spoke about, which includes the AOL communication services, for example, the instant messaging or the email, the real network libraries that I spoke about, and the Cisco IP stacks, these will all be made available to our publishing partners through our software development kits so that they are able to incorporate these fabulous features into their software, allowing them and ultimately the consumers to have easy access to the online networks. Finally, what about content? Just as in the offline space, as I mentioned before, PlayStation 2 has always been about compelling content. And obviously, this is something that we will continue to strive and deliver in the online space as well. The PlayStation 2 format really is an open platform. We want to have the widest variety of content providers providing compelling and exciting content for the PlayStation 2. Certainly all the third-party publishing partners that we work with today, a lot of the Sony group companies we will be working together with as well. And as I mentioned, also working in collaboration with America Online to deliver and also create new and exciting content. But I'm also excited at the possibility of a variety of other entertainment companies coming into the PlayStation 2 and taking advantage of the technology and the power that the PlayStation 2 platform offers, and to provide content for the PlayStation 2 and ultimately for the consumers. So how do we see the online components in the software side shaking out? We see a variety of ways that users will be able, through a lot of the initiatives that we're doing and announcing, enjoying online gaming.